There's a beautiful passage found in Joshua chapter 5, 13, 14, and 15. I'm going to read it. And it came to pass, when Joshua was by Jericho, that he lifted his eyes and looked. Behold, a man stood opposite him, with his sword drawn in his hand. Joshua went to him and said to him, Are you for us or for our adversaries? So he said, No, but as commander of the army of the Lord, I have now come. And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and worshipped and said to him, What does my Lord say to his servant? Then the commander of the Lord's army said to Joshua, Take your sandal off your foot, for the place where you stand is holy. And Joshua did so. So a couple of things. Bible talks about angels, and angels do not accept worship. Joshua had a lot of courage to go up to this man with a sword and said, Are you for us or for against? So I love that attitude of Joshua. But this particular person says, Mr. Joshua, you have no idea who I am. First thing is that you take your sandals off, because this is holy ground. Second, you worship me. Only God accepts worship. So this commander-in-chief of the armies of heaven, eventually we see him in the New Testament. This person has got the appearance of a man. Now, this person or someone he sent, you find appearing to Gideon in Judges chapter 6, verse 11. And that is the turning around point in Gideon's life. And Samson's mom also got a visit from this person. Both these judges are extremely important to understand the story of the New Testament. We want all of us to go through this discovery process. How do I get to the deeper things that God gives us in the scriptures? So that is the identity of the person. What is his purpose in history? And what is it that he expects from you? In other words, this particular person who led Joshua into Jericho, gave him success, is willing to come to you and say, Son, daughter, brother, child, follow me. This is the agenda that I have for your life. So that is the part we want to explore a little bit as well. Eventually in the New Testament, we see this person who appeared to Joshua takes on a totally different form. So yesterday we covered this from Genesis 11:12. The redemptive history starts. That is with the call of Abraham. Eventually Abraham goes through a name change, Abraham. His wife Sarah becomes Sarah. And they have a child, Isaac. And Isaac has got a son, Jacob. And God himself says, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We'll talk about it in detail. But from there, all the way to David, Solomon, the Jewish people expect a Messiah. This Messiah, this Jesus of history, gets a title. And the completion or the opening our eyes of the redemptive history, you find in Luke chapter 22, verses 42 and 43. There are 3 men dying outside of Jerusalem. 2 of them are criminals, and 2 of them made fun of the man in the middle. Then suddenly something happens to one of them. He looks at this person in the middle and he recognizes, in spite of all the pain and the suffering this person goes through, he is working towards an objective. In other words, this person's suffering has got a purpose. So That is perhaps the background for this dialogue. This is from Luke 22, 42 and 43. Father, it is your... No, this is Jesus praying in Garden of Gethsemane, but I'll come to my story about the thief. Father, if it is your will, take this cup away from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done. And only the Gospel of Luke tells us this. Verse 43. Then an angel appeared to him from heaven, strengthening him. So in the Garden of Gethsemane, there is an interesting dialogue. And God, the Father, is listening to his only begotten Son's prayer, saying, can this cup be taken away? So an angel comes to Jesus' side and said, Sir, you are our commander-in-chief. You know we have come because you want sons and daughters for the Father. So that part, you see it well illustrated in chapter 23, verses 42 and 43. Then he said to Jesus, Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom. And Jesus said to him, remember, he's one of the two thieves who made fun of Jesus dying on the cross. And I'm much more like the other thief who would say, yeah, we are all dying. At least prove to me logically, if you're the Son of God, take yourself down, take me down, and then I will certainly believe. That's not how the repentant thief was. He said, Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom. And Jesus said to him, assuredly I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise. So there's a lot more I can go in depth-wise, but this is what I want to leave as a thought. What does today mean? And he entered into eternity, the thief. Both criminals, one could not make that request. He was logical, rational. And I tend to be like him. If God would meet these requirements, then I'm willing to trust. And most people are like that. But God says, it is by faith you discover me. And the other thief who made fun of Jesus discovered something about him, and he gained eternity. So that option is still available. And how do we exercise it? It's a deeper question, a personal question.